All right, you're asking for it, so here it is. Listen to this.
I want you fucking laughing at. We partners pod, kid. You understand? We in here drinking, singing, swinging, all that shit, dog. We sweating, getting wet, all that.
All right, so pardon me. Let me just say pardon. Like I got fluid in my lungs and shit, so like my shit's all nasally. But here we go. Welcome to. Let me start over. I forgot how to say it. Welcome to the 126th episode of the Drinking Partners Podcast. Yes, this is our Rod Woodson episode because number 26 is a hard motherfucker to find, all right? And so Rod Woodson, one of the most versatile and just potent cornerbacks in the history of the game. Yeah. And also, people don't know he was one of the biggest risk takers in the world because he tried to tackle Barry Sanders one-on-one and got his knee blown out. And a lot of people make fun of him, but I applaud him for attempting that, although that's one of the funniest videos that I've ever seen. You ever see a man just get his whole shit broken, non-contact? Like, that's how potent Barry Sanders was.
Barry did that quite often.
Shout out to one of the GOATs.
Yeah, shout out to Rod, man. He played both sides of the field, man.
Yes, he did.
You know what I mean? So,
all right, so that was my shout out to the city. I'm gonna give the city of Pittsburgh love with that, but I'm not gonna show you no more love the rest of this podcast. I am half of your hosting tandem, Ed Bailey. I'm joined, as always, with my co-host, Dave Bracey. Say what up to the people.
What's good with you people? We are Drinking Partners, and if you're looking for us, you can find us on epicastnetwork.com/partnerspod. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn, and Google Play under Drinking Partners. You can find us on IG, Twitter, and Facebook at PartnersPod, man. 126 episodes, you know, I mean, we've been asking y'all, you know, we're going to continue to ask you, man. Please hop on iTunes, rate and review. That's how we know we're doing well. That's how we let others know that we're doing well. And that's how we continue to do well. So please, man, hop on iTunes, rate and review.
Hey, you love us. You see us in the streets. You tell us you love us. Now we just ask you to go on the internet, click a button, and tell the world. And in lieu of rating reviews, as always, we will take shots of Hennessy if you see us out and about. So.
Shout out the car DJ guy. I mean,
man.
Yeah,
is it Car Guy DJ?
Car Guy DJ. There it is.
That's my man. He be having some crazy cars on his IG.
Yo.
I just want to live his life just to see those cars.
True,
we
like,
live in Pittsburgh. Like, where are you finding these
where
cars?
Where are you always bumping into these motherfuckers?
like, what are you doing that we're doing wrong? Like, all I see is Jeeps because I bought one. Like, that's it. Like, you buy a car, that's all that's on the street now.
Yeah.
But that's what's up,
Jeeps
man.
and Chevy Cruises.
Yeah, fuck a Chevy Cruze. Because anybody driving Chevy Cruze be driving mad reckless like they got a lot of heft to their car. Like, we could take on any collision. You will lose, motherfucker. Like, you got this little ass
the Napoleon
Chevy
complex. They need to show out.
Oh, yeah. Okay. How you get on a lot and get a Cruze anyway? How was that the final choice? Like, if you over the age of 16 years old and your parents aren't buying your car, how you look at a Cruze and be like, you know what, that's going to get done what I need to get done. I could carry 2 grocery bags in that car.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's the white girl starter kit, man.
See,
like, as soon as you get a white girl to co-sign for you, you don't grab that Chevy Cruze.
Yo, if you get a white girl to co-sign for you at the age of 16, you on your way, fam. Like, you got somebody put you on the game early. Like 16 years old, somebody co-signed it for you. That's big things.
Beast.
Yo, if you love us or love how we sound, that's not us, man. That's the team. That's the family, Epicast. So
truth, man.
if you're looking to get your podcast to sound better, if you want to start your own podcast, if you need help promoting an event, want to advertise your product on an award-winning podcast, I got to say this because they didn't say it today, but I will say it. We won an award.
We did.
We're thought of as best in the city.
Yeah, best in the city. You know, city paper said it. You know what I mean?
The people said it. But,
people said it, and the city paper repeated it. You know.
That doesn't happen if we're not on Epicast, man. They make us sound professional while we sit down here and be unprofessional.
Yeah, we really do get shit-faced and talk shit for like an hour and a half, and they make it sound like a professional podcast.
Make it sound like an interview. So listen, go to epicastnetwork.com/services, fill out the form, and tell them Drinking Partners sent you.
True. You got a review?
Yeah, I got a review. Hold on, see, I hit the button. You know, the phone be going.
If you leave a review, I don't know, maybe we'll read it on the air. You know what I mean?
Like this review by Lone Wolf McCade 2845. First of all, that's a long ass username. So minimize that, man. We got to limit usernames to like 14 characters at most.
I don't follow anybody with an underscore in their name.
How you got 3 names and a birth date? What you doing, Lone Wolf? But shout out to Lone Wolf because I guess I done fucked this up. They said top 5 podcasts in the world. Not only is it the best podcast in Pittsburgh, it is two, which is supposed to be top 5 in the world. I'm a heavy podcast listener, logging 35 to 45 hours a week. It's definitely one I look forward to. Most pods get stale after a time, but not these guys. It's well produced and has great guests that the host gets the most out of. Yo.
Man,
you listen to 45 hours of podcasts a week, I want your job. Or you retire. If 2/8/45 is your birthday, which I assume it is, all right, you retire. You got 45 hours for podcasts.
Yeah.
I'm glad we could fill up 1 or 2 of the hours.
Roof, man.
Shout out to Lone Wolf.
That's super dope, man. That's probably one of the best we've gotten.
That is the kindest thing anyone's ever said to me.
In the world?
I'm not a top 5 Ed Bailey in the world.
Shout out to the motherfuckers in France that listen to our podcast to learn better English, man. I feel bad for them too because they ain't learning much of the good shit here.
You ain't learning better English. You learning how we speak over here for real.
Yeah.
This ain't that textbook shit you be reading. Like, you learn how we really speak. But no, if you want to learn more about us, come to one of our shows. Mm-hmm. We got some things coming up. We have, July
15th. We'll be back down at Bricolage. Back downtown. Check that out. More details to come. We'll have a headliner as always. We'll have actually Fury Brewing down there slinging some drinks. Free beer, BYOB as always, and we're gonna bring the funny. So check that out. It'll be tickets will be at purplepass.com/BYOB1.
Yeah, different show, same quality. We coming off our return down at Bricolage here in June. So we back, man. We doing this monthly again. And we got Mike Kaplan down at Comtra Theater.
Huge.
July 28th and 29th because we going global now.
Yeah. Mike Kaplan, man, he's got his Netflix special. He got, Comedy Central special. He's been on all the Tonight shows, the Conans and whatnot, man. He's coming to Pittsburgh for 2 nights, July 28th and 29th. We also have 2 of the best in the city, Sean Collier and T. Rowe, opening up them nights. And then we have Apis Mead on the 28th coming out with some free booze. And then we got Rheingeist Brewery out in Cincinnati. Shout out to Rheingeist Brewery, man. I was out in the brewery out your way up in Cleveland yesterday. Railroad Brewery, whatever, was talking about Rheingeist. And they were saying how it's one of the best in Ohio. So shout out to them. They'll be down there on the 29th slinging some free booze for Mike Kaplan. And as always, it's BYOB, man. So bring your booze, drink some booze, and have the time of your summer. And if you're looking for tickets, comtratheater.ticketleap.com.
Yep. So let's get into it. Let's get into why people are listening. Mm-hmm. We have an artist, photographer, creative director, all around Renaissance woman in the building. I feel intimidated because she has all of these hats that she could wear, and I'm basically just a guy who gets drunk and talk shit on this podcast. You know what I mean?
She's like, I've been on podcasts before. I'm like, ugh. Just put me I don't want to don't expect much. She's been
sunning us since she got in the building. I'm talking to her before the podcast. She basically said, "Google me, bitch." That's essentially what she said to me. But we gonna let it slide. I'm gonna try to sing her name like Badu did. We got Huny in the building. Say what up to the people.
What up, people? How are you?
How are you today?
I'm awesome. I'm already a little tipsy.
Nice. You're doing it right. You're doing it right.
What we drinking on? This is your suggestion.
Yeah, so we're drinking Bullet whiskey right now. It's real classy and shit.
Yeah, nice bourbon. Yeah, it's very, very delicious.
It's very distinguished. Making me tingle a little bit.
Yeah, You're the first non-brewer that we allowed to do what you're drinking on.
That. Well, that's why I asked, because I know y'all drink beer. I'm not really a beer girl. I have drank beer, because sometimes you just have to go with it.
But we were all poor at some point, so you had to drink beer at some point.
No, when I was poor, it was like vodka, which I don't even touch now. Basic bitch shit. I'm sorry, vodka drinkers, but that's very basic.
You
but I started with vodka or Long Island's. I don't know. That was a terrible choice.
Long Island's are key to certain nights in your youth. But nah, they're never a good idea. Now that I'm grown, I think about because Long Island's are always on sale.
Yeah,
yeah, they are. They're cheap because they use all well liquor, so it's like cheap. It's not costing them anything. Like the kids love it, but I like if you are like in your 30s. Like me, and you order Long Island, I'm judging the fuck out of you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I ain't had a Long Island in a while.
Yeah.
Like what are you?
That's an automatic hangover.
Upgrade your life, like please. Are you kidding me right now?
Listen, listeners, I know we just ruined your world. There's some people out here living off Long Islands, like they still turning up.
I'm here to help.
I know we just ruined your world, but don't do it. Like
fuck your Long Island.
If you pay taxes,
just start smacking Long Islands out of niggas' heads. The fuck is you doing?
If you pay taxes. If you're contributing any retirement, if you're raising another human being, if you can afford a bus pass, stop buying Long Islands. It's over for Long Islands. Like any place is offering Long Islands for $3, they ain't giving you nothing but the devil.
Nah.
Right, exactly. But yeah, we're drinking Bullet whiskey. Or are they calling it bourbon? I don't know. It's bourbon.
Bourbon is a whiskey, so
it is. I call it all whiskey, to be honest. But I did.
A square is a rectangle.
I did hit y'all up and ask what we were drinking on this morning because I realized that you drink beer, and I was like, let me see if
you're a responsible adult.
Yeah, convince
we appreciate
them. Because I would have honestly brought. So I was gonna bring you chicken.
I don't even know. Like, see, why would you even say that? Like, why would you even introduce? So you
invite me back, and I'll bring you like a whole entire chicken dinner. But I was running late because I'm a woman, and
thank you for admitting that.
We didn't say it.
I was like, "Fuck, I really want to get that." Well, now I could have got y'all chicken actually because it took us a little bit.
You keep digging this hole. Like now, I'm just missing what I never had. Like,
sorry.
I personally am offended that you think I would like chicken.
But I like chicken.
I do like chicken. Everybody likes chicken.
Everybody likes chicken, not just black people.
The listeners are going to look at the photo of us at the end of this, and when they look, they're like, yo, they going to say chicken on the podcast.
The picture going to look like, it's going to smell like chicken and cocoa butter. That's what the picture going to smell like.
So you went to Howard, correct?
I did go to Howard, yeah.
At Howard, did you major in creative arts? Or?
I actually was an acting major. At Howard, I wanted to be on Broadway as an actor. I love that. I actually graduated with Chad Boseman, who's now the Black Panther in Marvel. That's my boy.
Yeah.
True story. Yeah, I graduated with Susan Watson, who's on This Is Us now. I graduated with Frenchie Davis, who's fucking Frenchie goddamn Davis, like this boisterous, awesome Broadway star. Who else did I go to school with? I went to school with a lot of famous people.
Well, first of all, shout out to Howard's.
HU.
Is it theater arts that you guys?
Well, it used to be, when I was there, it was called the College of Fine Arts, but they actually merged the fine arts and arts and sciences after I left, which is some fucking bullshit.
Shout out to Howard. They don't get enough credit for the shit they putting out as far as on that scene. Like, because I never thought of Howard as a producer of these actors.
Oh, yeah. Felicia Rashad, Debbie Allen went to Howard.
Debbie Allen.
Yeah,
I'm with
Felicia Rashad.
Paula J. Parker. Taraji P. Henson went to Howard. Yeah.
All my baby's moms went there. I forgot.
Look at you.
Well, you know how we do. We claim babies' mothers and fathers when we watch these shows. We don't just watch these shows for entertainment. We trying to build families. Look, I got my real family, and I got the family I would have had. I got the family that I would have had I not already been called for.
Sliders.
No, but Howard Fine Arts is a brilliant program. I loved it. I intended to go into acting, but I've always been an artist. Like I consider what I do to be just creative in general.
Right.
I always been a creative person. Kind of just, I think, like I don't remember not being creative, not drawing, not painting, not acting, putting on plays for like my parents' friends. Like that was always me. I've always been, kind of outgoing and needing to like funnel that energy into something. So yeah, I was an acting major, and I really loved art too. I came out of college and was looking in the Village Voice newspaper, which I don't even know if people like looking for jobs in the newspaper anymore.
Village Voice sound like, never mind, I ain't even gonna say what that sound like.
It's New York. It's some New York shit.
Nah, that sounds like some country shit. The Village Voice.
It does, but no, it was like a very.
They sell wooden
I don't
crosses
even know
in
if
the
they
back.
still publish it.
Sound like it got a Boo Radley character.
Nah, it's Mad New York. It's Mad New York. That is a very iconic New York newspaper. Thank you very much, fucking Cleveland. How you Cleveland and calling somebody?
Whoa, time out. We are the defenders. First of all, I wasn't even gonna bring up the New York Cleveland thing because there's no beef there. But I'm gonna just say the Knicks, and then you want to silence that because
no, I'm not a Knicks fan.
From New York,
I am from New York, but I actually like the Cavs because, like I told you, my daughter's father's from Cleveland. I had no choice. Like you cannot be with a nigga for that many years and not fall in love with like Cleveland.
Can you
sports.
tell wifey that? Because I don't think she's in love with that.
But I do fuck with him though. Like I like kind of gauge like, oh, can I like fuck with you today about Cleveland, or is this like not a good time?
It's never a good time. Like,
that's what he said
right
too.
now. If you listeners, this is a little delayed on the release, but the NBA finals are going on right now. I'm not really the kind of guy that you want to fuck with right now.
I mean, it's looking.
I mean, that was a bad look. Yeah, it was only game one.
One game. We got blown out last year when we won the championship. We're not worried.
Anything is possible.
Like the fact that we won last year, we know anything's possible. But back to your interview.
17-0 right now.
Well, they. I mean, that's a good squad we playing. But back to because we're gonna shift gears. Because if we don't shift gears, I would start getting tight. Like
I was actually in your little home city last night.
My little home city, like
it's not just me.
Wow,
I was in your little city. Your little city.
Wow, disrespectful.
I didn't even say that.
Like,
no,
I was just commenting on you calling the village kind of country.
All the love he got when he was there, he got all the good craft beer and all that shit.
It's dope. It was a dope ass city. I just want to say it's a dope ass city. It was down by Progressive Field. We had a little hotel right next to there or whatever. I mean, Huron Ave is like a little spot. Like they got the casino.
Our downtown is killing Pittsburgh.
Yeah, the downtown is dope as fuck.
I'll give you that.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll give you that. Cleveland has I feel like the spirit of the cities are similar. The kind of blue collar steel worker, like the grit that people have and kind of the spirit that informs them. The fact that I mean, New Yorkers are really annoying about like New York pride or whatever, but I think that cities like Pittsburgh and Cleveland actually rival it because you like, I feel like Pittsburgh and Cleveland got to fight for so much respect.
Yeah.
You know, so I actually do fuck with Cleveland hard, but I love fucking with Cleveland niggas.
There was like, I mean, Cleveland has. I mean, I saw so many levels of black folks out there. You know what I mean? Like
that's
downtown.
A big difference between that.
Yeah, like there's so many different types of black, and like like the old head black pimp motherfuckers be out there. Like it's
Cat
just
daddies.
Oh yeah, you can tell a Cleveland old head because his shirt matches shoes.
Everything. They had a Cleveland
Everything
old head
matches.
suit shop right next to the stadium. I was like, right next
they
to
got
the
old head
casino.
suit shops in the mall. Like somebody somehow
Stacey
got
Adams
a
and
lease.
shit.
Somebody got a lease
They
in
had
a
the
mall.
Steve Harvey shop, like right downtown, because it was dope as fuck. And I walked over to the casino, and as soon as I sat down, I saw old head gaming a little young bride at the end of the bar. Like I was like, get your money, B. Like we get a lot of that.
We get influence from so many other cities because Cleveland itself does not have an identity, so to speak. Like we borrow identities from several different individuals or cities or whatever, and it's like a melting pot of those. So it's really cool. Now, being from New York, would you say that your artistry fed the acting, or vice versa, or maybe they worked in cahoots? Because I don't know how many artists how many actors have artistic backgrounds outside of acting.
That's a deep ass question. So I kind of had two choices when I went to college. My father was like, you're going to be a business major. And I was like, absolutely not. Although he was right. Like, I'm like, I was 16 when I went to college. So I was like,
all majors are business at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I agree, but it would have been good to have that foundation. But, I was like really young and very stubborn. And in retrospect, cannot believe he even let me do that. But I kind of wanted to choose between art and acting because I think people that knew me and my family and high school friends were like, yeah, Huny's either going to go. Like that was like either one would have been like, yep, I can see that. I chose acting just because I really do like to perform. I like to I turn on in front of audience, and I'm sure y'all as comedians, you kind of understand that too. Because I know a lot of comedians who are like mad shy, but when they get on stage, you would never think that. You would never think that. So yeah, exactly. So I come when I'm in an audience, I actually am more comfortable sometimes being in front of an audience than even talking to somebody one-on-one. Because again, it's just something that turns on in you. So I really like the performance aspect. And Howard again has so many famous acting graduates. It's just like the mecca of Black education. It was just so proud
I'm so jealous
to be a Howard graduate. So I do, but I don't know that. I don't think most actors can just intuitively do other artistic things. I think that's just like the universe was like, you're gonna be really bad at like math and science and like anything that would let you be like a fucking doctor. I'm not just
you gotta be good at math with the art because those are all angles and you gotta understand.
Not in the same way. I actually am good at math now. I actually am a web developer too. Like I'm so like there's so many like flashes in my name. I have more flashes than like an Instagram bitch. Like I'm like creative director, photographer, artist, front end developer, UI designer.
Well, that's the age that we're in. You can't just be really one thing. Because if you're just that one thing, then you gotta rely on other people to get you, those other things. So I mean, like a project typically involves a lot of different, skills.
It does, and I kind of spent a lot of the first part of my career doing all of those things by myself, just because that's kind of how it was. Maybe like 10 years ago, I think the switch started happening between. Okay, I just design stuff and then somebody else builds it. You are distracting me. What's happening over there?
We try to have our little. This is a show.
I know, but I'm drinking, so I'm like, why?
That's the feel.
You're in my peripherals.
That's the feel that
they're like doing sign language over here.
We want to give the listeners.
You are breaking the fourth wall. Like what are you?
I am.
You ain't Deadpool. You can't.
All right, while they're doing that, people,
right there. Like
this happened. That bottle happened.
I mean, we just on the sideline.
I'm about to start talking about because I was about to
Tom
start.
Brady calling timeout. Like, hold on.
Yeah, I was dry snitching.
So while they're doing like sign language or whatever, I'll tell y'all people that I started out doing everything. I started out as designer.
She went to that bottle again, yo.
I did, yeah.
We're gonna get all the important conversations out the way first, then we're gonna just pick up.
Yeah, I think we have maybe like 20 more minutes.
And
then we're just gonna talk about
20 more minutes that you remember.
Yo, we raw dogging this bullet bourbon right there. There's no ice.
Yeah, there's no ice, no chaser.
They call that neat. So
it's not chilled. Like it's just real.
Well, you got two bearded men. Over there. We not chilling it.
We in the basement in Allentown.
Bearded men don't chill liquor. Are you fucking kidding me?
We don't chill bourbon when we just do it on the fly.
You don't even drink bourbon. What you talking?
Well, I'm a cognac guy.
Are you like
what? Brown guy.
Like
Cavassier.
Both
No, what's Cavassier? Is that?
Well, that's yak. Yes, yak.
Is that brandy or yak?
I think it is brandy.
It's like they all are the same.
It is. It's cognac.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't.
I'm a yak.
That's
guy.
Another youthful drink that I don't fuck with anymore. No, Cavassier specifically.
Cavassier?
And I actually don't fuck with Hennessy either.
That's cool because we gonna after you finish this next glass, we are gonna go into why you don't drink.
Yeah,
I have a story
because you're gonna be so much more open about these things.
If I finish this glass, I'll tell you why I don't fuck with Hennessy.
That's what I want to hear.
Because that's what it'll take to tell you.
So tell us about your many hats.
Yeah, I was trying when y'all was like doing like interpretive fucking sign language over there, like popping and locking. Like, what the fuck?
Now she taking shots, but she don't know that the more shots she take, after the shot she take.
No, because I was like nosy.
We got all the footage, boo.
I was like,
we got all the footage.
What kind of tea y'all talking over there? No, okay. I was basically saying that before a few years ago, if you were like building websites, for example, which is one of the things I did, I started out in my career specifically after college as a web designer.
Okay.
And back then it wasn't like now you have somebody who designs the website and then someone who builds it and codes it and prepares it for like the content management system like WordPress or something. But back in the day when I was like really like first starting, you just had to do it all yourself.
Were you coding?
Yeah.
And you're not good at math?
Well, okay, that was the segue. Y'all were so busy like
I was the one that said you was good at math.
Oh, well, thank you. I was giving you credit for that, and y'all was like communicating with your eyes and shit.
Good at math. He ain't give you a test when you walked in that bitch. He ain't throw you an essay.
No, there is math involved with web development.
There's certain phrases
very
that we
logical
don't allow on this cast, and they are not communicating with our eyes is one of those phrases. You gotta pause that.
Heavy pause.
You have to pause.
They were take the tape doing out. Their little thing where they took their headphones off, like, yo, right. B.
Yeah, you gotta throw that tape away.
Yo, B, we like, yo, son.
We was trying to get y'all a live stream popping. That's what we was trying to do. So she wore many hats. She's good at math.
Oh, shit.
We try to keep it on tracks here. So you were good at math because I said so, and you wore many hats, which I think is admirable to me. I mean, you were better prepared for the climate change on that front than other people. Like those specialists now, they're kind of they're stuck in whatever they can do now, and you can do so many different things. So it gets you, I guess. Would you be able to say that you have gotten onto so many different projects because you can take so many different positions in those projects? Like as you present yourself or as people contact you, are they aware of, how versatile you are?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that I'm kind of not even kind of. They call me a unicorn. Like they call people like me a unicorn in tech and design specifically. Because again, most people now are either developers or they're designers. So people who kind of can like very well function in both of those worlds between the design, the programming, even like graphic design, those are called like unicorns now. Because you had to start like a long ass time ago to do that. Like I was doing this when I was like a teenager. So, yes, it's helpful, but at the same time, it divides my attention a lot because sometimes you can be like a jack of all, what's Jill of all trades, I guess, because I'm a woman, but a Jill of all trades, but like a master of none because
that's frustrating as
it's
fuck.
Hard for me to, at this point, like concentrate on all of the things that I want to do. So I've kind of... I still take clients. I still design websites, but I only take projects I really, really like now that I'm like really interested in.
Do you find as you're older, like you said, I mean, you kind of narrow and focus on, what's more important versus, being scattered? Because, I mean, they say the brain doesn't develop fully till you're like 25 or whatever. And like, you start to make better decisions as you get older or whatever. And like, when you're in your 20s, like you said, jack of all trades, you're just like everywhere. You know what I mean? Like you're just doing whatever. Anything that pops up is like, I could do that.
Yeah.
And, part of that, like, is that you get bored easily sometimes. You know what I mean?
And you have a lot of energy when you're young too.
Yeah. Like you don't always finish projects or whatever. You take too much on or whatever. Yeah. And then like it's a learning process where like, you figure out what you're capable of doing and or kind of like tempering. I think that's been my hardest thing is tempering myself and saying like I can't do that. Like what I mean? Like to be like, I could with enough time and it is but like given everything, this might not be,
Exactly. And there's actually a lot of like motivational shit coming out now around saying no because it's again, when you're like a creative person or again, a person that wears a lot of hats and can do a lot of stuff, it's actually really hard to say no to stuff. Like you kind of
like this bourbon you just passed me.
Exactly. You saw that was multitasking right there. I was like, what you reaching for?
She was like, no, take the bourbon.
But I do find that, again, that my attention is divided nowadays and I do have to like, prioritize kind of what I'm concentrating on because I am a parent. I am trying to have a dope social life. Like I'm trying to not
You have a social life?
A little bit.
Man.
Like I'm trying because I'm definitely a workaholic. That has been a complaint that I've got from like in the context of relationships, especially from men. They're like men are like, oh, you don't pay no attention to me. Like they kind of turn into like the chick in the relationship. Like you don't pay me no mind. Like damn,
quality time. You don't take me nowhere.
Because I am definitely a workaholic. I got that from my father. My father like instilled, see, look, I'm already drawing, instilled working hard in me and my brother.
Yeah.
So I am like, my kids are first, obviously, because I ain't got no damn choice. And then my career, and then you, nigga. So if you understand that, then we can definitely rock. But so that, like, navigating that around the fact that I do so many things. Like right now I'm doing a project called American Woman, which I also talked about on the broadcast, actually. Like, I'm sitting in the same place I was like 2 months ago. I was like way sober though.
Yeah.
Well, you weren't saying with us, but I wanted to get into the American Woman Project just because you were talking about your attachment to other projects, but this is your project.
Yes.
So now, with you being able to wear all of those other hats, have you, because you're the creative director of American Woman, do you wear other hats with this project, or do you delegate some of that work? Like how have you approached? Okay,
I'm
so
doing
you take
everything with American Woman because I got a grant from Heinz Endowments and Pittsburgh Foundation out here in Pittsburgh. Shout out, thank you for the money.
Man,
Yeah, they gave me money to do it. I actually won a grant for it. So kind of like the parameters of the grant are, it's supposed to be you, basically. Okay. So pause. If you're taking pictures of me, you gotta be like above me. Like, okay, so I'm just telling him how to take pictures of fat girls because you can't like be all under my chin because that's not a good look. Like, I'm a thick snack. I'm very thick, so.
School it, Buzzy over here.
I don't know if that's gonna make the cast.
No, I think
she's sunning everybody.
Everybody's getting something.
No, please.
Sister coming to visit.
No, because I know I met him before I met y'all. Shut up.
Everybody got to get their issues today.
You know, just us fat girls.
I'm sure
we like our angles, baby. Anyway,
well, check out, if you're listening, check out the photos from the podcast and see if he got them right. You know what I mean? A little coaching.
I'll let him know. I'll be like,
Well, you're gonna have to run these photos.
I'm like, no, baby, you don't put that on Instagram.
That's what happens when you got a motherfucker that own $1,000 fucking camera in a bit. Like, I got a phone. That's about as good as my pictures get, and I don't use any of those extra motherfucking things on that bitch. I just point and click. Yeah, no, they always turn.
No, because now you have an iPhone.
No, I got an Android.
No, I texted you. It went green. I was like, damn it. That's always disappointing.
Because I mean, but we ain't even there yet.
Anyway,
tell us more.
Watch how I segue back around to what I was talking about.
Yeah,
so
I put a little pin in it. Yes.
So, explain the project. What is the project?
So, American Woman is a portrait and documentary series about Black American women specifically, and that's either, American ancestrally, like for decades / centuries, like me, like 80% of my family, we've been here, nigga. Like, we built America. My ancestors built America. As African people who were enslaved in this country. But there's also first generation American women whose family just came over with their parents. And I have women who just became citizens within the last few years. Like, they went through that process of becoming American. And so it started out as just pictures. Like, I was like, I just want to like kind of go around the country and take portraits of Black American women. And I tell them, you pick your outfit, you pick where we're shooting. With like a lot of photography projects, the photographer is directing. Like, I'm going to put you in this, I'm bringing in the makeup artist, but I let the women dictate everything about the shoot. I just show up and start taking pictures of them because I want them to be presented as they are. So some women come in like hoodies and some come with like full face beat down. Like, I've taken like women completely naked. I've taken women in, all like hijab. So I think that presenting Black American women as this myriad and not like Borg, right? Well, I'm a Star Trek nerd, so I say Borg.
Right, because I don't know what that is.
I'm not supposed to be posing for the photography.
You're the only one that even notices Buzzy, because he usually comes into like a ninja and nobody even fucking notices. But like, as a photographer, you get the eye. Like, I
always know when somebody's taking pictures of me because I'm like, what angle is this from right now? Don't get under my chin, my nigga.
What's the saturation like?
I don't What's the white balance?
I look the same every picture.
Oh goodness. But yeah, so I quickly realized like these women have a lot of interesting things to say, right? Because again, we don't all have the same experience, and we do have a lot to say. Like Black women are kind of like running shit. Mm-hmm. I feel like Black women have always been lit, but we're definitely running shit right now.
Hey man, get your ass out of here.
I know. I'm so sorry. I'm hyper aware of the camera. I definitely am, but which is another reason I'm like really actually glad to be behind the camera now, because I can show up however I want. Yeah. But I do think Black women have a lot to say about not only just intersectionality and the fact that some of us are straight, some of us are bisexual or lesbian, some of us are masculine presenting or very, very feminine. Again, some of us were born here or not, just got over here. But one thing, Black people in general, honestly, and all marginalized people who look different than like Becky and Brad, we all have been told at one time or another, go back to where you came from. Go back to where you came from, or you need to dress American. You need to look American. Like I know a lot of my family is Muslim. They get told you need to look American. Like take that shit off. You don't look American. You need to ingrate yourself in America. You need to be like grateful to be here. You need to look like this.
Yeah. Well, yeah, my grandparents are full Cherokee, so I love when people tell me to go back.
Indian in your family.
No, I like when they tell me to go back.
Silky.
Word about you go back, man. But yeah, no.
No, that's a really good point, because one of the questions I ask all the women is when you hear the term American woman, what do you picture immediately? Like before you think about it, what do you see? Mm-hmm. And in my head, even after doing this project since July of last year, I still see like Jennifer Lawrence, or just, a white woman, to be perfectly honest, a blonde, like jean cutoffs, like the videos from the 80s, like Van Halen videos, like those chicks. Yeah. That's who
American
I see.
American flag, bald eagle screaming in the background, like holding an M16.
Husking and
the
fucking
Daisy
hay
Dukes,
in the background.
Yeah, with a tractor. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's what I see. And I'm like, honestly, I should definitely be picturing a Native woman first. Like an indigenous woman should be the first motherfucking thing we all picture when we hear American woman.
They phase them out. You know that.
Yeah.
But I always found that to be interesting, just because there is this picture of this blonde haired, blue eyed American woman, but really America's foundation is diversity
the melting pot.
Written.
Yeah. It is.
We're supposed to be super diverse.
Well, it was diverse as soon as the white motherfuckers came over. They introduced diversity. They were the minorities in this motherfucker. Right.
Like, it was like, allow me to reintroduce myself. My name's America. Like, that's what they did. Those people, written on it. You know what I mean?
Nice country you got over here. Yeah. Be ashamed of somebody claimed it.
Yeah, so it's always funny to me how we try to present this country as this melting pot, as super diverse, but there is an understanding of a dominant theory of who is American.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And we're all affected by it. We're all affected by it. Like even the most woke motherfucker had to literally deprogram themselves from associating American or acceptable or respectable with a certain image. So this project is kind of, I seek to disrupt that. I'm even fine with being ostentatious about it, because I do feel like Black American women are really having our time right now. Like we're very, very active in activism. I mean, we always have been, but there's now we're no, you're not going to shove me under the door. Now with social media especially, we are able to have a voice that we can project on our own and not rely on quote unquote mainstream media. And some mainstream media is cool, by the way, but we don't have to depend on anybody to give us permission to speak.
Right.
We don't have to depend on anybody to give us a platform specifically. So when I was thinking about what I wanted to pitch for this grant, I felt like Trump hadn't won yet, but he was, fucking Donald Trump, and I was starting to get a lot of comments like that. especially when I talked about my Muslim family members or when I was retweeting certain things, because I consider myself a signal booster. Like I do have a large social media presence, so I like to just I consider it a responsibility for me to signal boost other people's voices.
Shout out to that, because I hate a motherfucker. Like if you follow me and like you got mad followers, but your whole timeline is just you, there's no point in me following you. You know what I mean? Like we're not gonna really, you know what I mean, vibe off of this you know thing. Because like I do the same thing. Like if I see something or whatever, like I retweet. Don't manually retweet. Motherfuckers out there manually. And then here's the thing, because it sounds petty if you're not on Twitter or whatever.
I saw you talking about that.
Yeah, you know I mean, like, but like manually retweeting, like you're basically taking somebody's art, you're taking somebody's words, and then like a lot of people use social media to make a living. You know what I mean? Engagements and, various things that like come from getting likes and retweets or whatever, being an artist and trying to like get your name out there. Like you show that to prospective advertisers and people, like, so when
analytics,
you take, and analytics matter. So when you take that and you just put the LOL on there so that you can get all the, like, so your mentions is popping or whatever. Now that are like that you've stolen that, basically from them or whatever.
And it's intentional.
It's very intentional.
And now it's harder to do it that way with the new platform and the new like user interface that Twitter has like implemented on the web and on the app. I'm like, you tried really hard to not just retweet me, motherfucker. Like, are you serious right now?
You took some time.
Ed doesn't like social media.
I don't dislike social media. I don't like social media people. Like I don't like when people take social media and it becomes their life. I respect those who exploit what social media can be for them professionally. But when you try to create your image through social media, that's different to me. Like to present your image and be like, all right, this is who I am. This is how I tweet. These are the things that I'm interested in. I respect that. But then to be like, yo, this is who I am. Like that's different. Like, bro, you just out here trying to be something because we can't call you out on it because we can't call for them receipts.
There's a lot of fronting.
There's no receipts
that
for social
happens
media.
on social media. Because when you meet people sometimes in real life, they're mad different. And I've been meeting people off social media since the days where it was really weird. Yeah. Like people were like, you met that nigga on Twitter. Like not even dating, but just like friends of mine. Yeah. Well, I couldn't even say, well, no, it wasn't even Twitter actually. It was like, they read my blog because I used to have a really, really popular blog before the days of social media. And I just kind of forged a relationship with some of the people who used to comment on it, and I would meet them because some of them were in New York, and that was weird. Yeah, that was like mad weird.
My boy met a chick off MySpace, and I was like, "You about to meet like what? You go? Like, what do you know about this? We've been following. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even they call fault. We friended. What did they do? What did MySpace do?
I was never on MySpace.
I just remember there was top 8.
The top 8,
and that was a really stressful time.
Yo.
So I had a top 4. Because I was like, it was like my brother, my boyfriend, and I think my best friend and like some other motherfucker. Like I didn't even do 8 because I was like
they started to give you options, and then you could have like a top 56 and shit.
And
like,
if somebody took you off the top 8, that was some shady shit.
Was it top 8 people you interact
with? No, honey,
it was
you chose that.
When you went to their like wall or whatever.
Yeah,
you could pick the top friends that people would see that you're
and
associated
people used to
with.
Get pissed.
That shit ended relationships. Who this bitch in your top 8? Like there was a thing that like people would say, like,
and you would notice when somebody like took somebody off they top 8. Oh god,
they
social media is ridiculous.
See, that was my thing about social media to begin with. For me, I was a young man, I was living life, and social media was detrimental to the life I lived because that's where everybody started talking. You know what I mean? Like I remember when
Why was that detrimental to your life?
Because at the
you
end
didn't
of the,
want to.
Because
you didn't want women talking to each other.
Exactly.
Like, oh, that nigga took you out Thursday.
Facts.
He took me out Friday. So it fucked up you being
me being because my relationship with these individuals was going very well.
Can we talk about
was not exclusive?
Can we talk about the dry snitching that Twitter is doing right now?
It's like not. Now, see, y'all talk about dry snitching now. So I joined Facebook, and when I joined Facebook look at college, I was a little leery about people writing on your wall and stuff like that. And then they came up with
the
this
freedom.
thing,
They could just post
Honesty
whatever.
Box.
Like,
do you realize what happened when Honesty Box dropped?
I never turned that on.
Oh, I
is
had
Honesty?
to
I don't
turn
even know
that
what's
shit
Honesty
off.
Box.
Honesty Box was basically like a DM situation.
But it was anonymous.
But it was anonymous.
like
So
the
motherfuckers
ask
could
me
just-
whatever.
Yeah.
like-
Yeah, but you didn't ask for shit. You just came and your Honesty Box was lit. And
Yeah.
it let you know if it was a woman
It
or
was
a
like
man.
the breast stink, you
I've
dick
got
small.
hit on by different
Send,
people. Yeah.
and that's it. I never turned that on. I was like, I don't.
What?
How you feel about me is none of my
Did you
business.
send pictures?
I have felt like that since my
So
youth.
it was just a anonymous, like,
It
just
was
you
a
could just
little
send
box.
wild, whatever the fuck
Yes.
to anybody.
And then there
But
was
you
This
could
sounds like
opt
the Wild
into
Wild
it, and I was
West.
like, why do you have? Why do you want abuse?
Why did like that's what I think about women that watched Oprah. I was like, why are you watching this show when you gonna cry at the
Wait
end
a
of it? Like,
minute.
it wasn't
why?
always
Leave-
abuse.
It
with
was
those
all
women.
yo, man.
Leave Auntie
So the thing
Oprah
about-
alone.
Oprah
Leave
was
Auntie
emotional
Oprah
abuse,
alone.
and that was man.
Well, I
that
think
was that was masochism to the fullest.
I think the anonymity of having someone come to you directly does not breed abuse. That breeds people who tell you they want to be with you, they like you, they like these sort of
That's
things
the
about
experience
you.
you were having.
No, I think
It's-
because social media now, because everyone can see it, yeah, they'll abuse you. They'll talk shit on you and at you. They'll at these celebrities in a negative light.
Oh, this was just like a
Yeah,
personal
this was a
between me and you,
personal
and
thing.
nobody
So
else.
If
will
you
see
hitting
that
me
type of-
direct,
nobody else can
yeah,
see
you'll
I
get
thought
a
it was
couple of
like-
stragglers that want to hate on you, but most of these are people that like hitting on you. I got a bunch of dudes hitting on me, talking about, yo, you sexy as fuck. Like this
How
is
did you
weird
know they were dudes?
because it changed the
Wait,
color.
that
Women were
voice,
pink
that voice he did. Yo, you sexy as fuck,
because
son.
women were pink
Yo,
and dudes were blue.
Bruh.
We get that
Like,
boy
it-
Gina. We get that. we
Oh,
get
see,
that
I
boy-
didn't even know that.
Boy,
Yeah,
China
like, shit
I
was
didn't know
great.
that.
So and that's what turned
Because I
me
never
off.
turned it on because I'm not fucking like asking for people to tell me
So
shit I
that
don't want to
turned me
hear.
off to that. But then
Oh,
they had
Lord.
Living Social.
It was getting
which is-
addresses in there.
Yeah, I
Yo,
get
son,
wild, crazy.
you look
shit.
good in them sweats, my nigga.
All right.
You brought it.
Y'all
You
wild.
brought it up.
Y'all
He brought it
wild.
up. Would you like to change the subject?
Nah, we can talk about social media. I don't give a fuck.
Okay,
Them-
let's
them
talk about
Fubus,
social
my
media.
nigga.
The first thing that I was ever on.
You bust them
where
Fubus open for a nigga.
I never. All right, I had Fubu's long time ago. That's pre-college. But look, so then there was this thing. I think it was called Living Juicy or something, where it was just like
Wait, living juicy?
some shit
Wait,
like that.
what?
Living juicy.
Wait,
What
let
is
me
your life?
finish. Let me finish. It's it was this random thing that came out where basically people could start, because this is before Twitter and all that.
Living
It was like a
juicy.
blog. It was like a website where people would start mini blogs about certain topics. So like the topic will be, yo, honey, this, that, and the third. And then mad people would just comment. So like the topics would be something like, yo, Ed is a trash ass nigga. And it'll just be whatever the fuck people wanted to put on about that. And that's when I was like, yo, I'm done with social media.
And wear tight Fubus.
Nah, I don't. That never happened. But we would like have some shit where
I have
you wore the
tears
weird
in my
ass
eyes.
corduroys.
Living juicy.
I think that's what it was called.
How do you even?
It was
how
either
do you
Living
see
Juicy
that
or
app
Juicy
and
Campus.
click on it. Like that.
I wasn't on it.
I don't even want more information.
Oh,
I didn't download. There were no apps back then, though. This is pre-apps. This is just on
I
the
know
internet.
a lot about
This is-
social
this
media,
is
and
you
living
just-
juicy is new to me.
It might not have been called that. It was just might have been Juicy
fact that
Campus.
The fact that if you just invented something called Living Juicy, let me see if that
Gave me
domain is
details.
available.
Yo, you had
Hold
intimate
up.
details about
I'm
living
about
juicy.
to Google
Like I feel
it.
like you spent
Or
enough
Living
time.
Living
Campus.
juicy.
All you had to do was go to the website and like
Living
search your school,
Juicy.
and it would just be mad blogs where people was
Living
like airing
Could
people
you
out.
imagine having that on your phone and your girl just see us like living juicy? What the?
It wasn't on your phone. This
No,
is when you
wait.
was going to kiosks.
Pause the game.
Oh, the-
Pause
like the computer
game.
labs.
Pause the game. There is a raw cafe in Pittsburgh called Living Juicy.
A raw cafe.
It's called Living
Okay,
Juicy.
that's what I know from. I know that. So
Yeah.
it wasn't. The website was not called Living Juicy. It might have been Juicy Campus.
It's cold pressed juices, y'all.
Yeah,
Juice of
nah.
delight.
Shout out
Kale,
to
spinach,
them. I actually
romaine,
like- that's
parsley,
on Ellsworth.
cucumber.
It's black owned. It's on.
They got
Ellsworth.
celery too. Shit.
Black owned. It's on Ellsworth.
Wait,
Living
celery is
juicy.
that a thing? Is that like
To juice
noteworthy?
celery, yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
But yo,
It
this
That's
is
like,
like.
what healthy people do.
Juicy campus?
Now you've been on social media for a while. How have you seen the landscape change? Because like that was my introduction.
Yes.
And I never fucked with it since then, just because people can go on there and just say anything. Like, and I'm not here for that. Like I live in my bubble, and I'm good with that.
So I can respect that. I think that my profession dictates that I'm on social media, though.
Yeah.
Juicy Campus was the name of it. Living Juicy is the juice spot in Pittsburgh on Ellsworth. Shout out to them. I do know them. I do know the owners.
I've never heard of
Juicy
that.
Campus was real. Yeah. I may be dating myself. I might be a little older than you. I'm 31. But like
you're not older than me.
Yeah, that hit Pitt hard.
Nigga, I'm 35.
Like if you from Pitt, if you from Pitt, and
that's
you
probably
was there
why I haven't
around
heard of it.
04 to 09,
no,
you know that
that's
Juicy Campus life.
That's a little after my college experience.
Yeah, I had a kid.
So
you went to IUP. Y'all didn't have computers. Y'all didn't have kiosks.
Nah.
But no, the landscape of social media has changed a lot. I'm so drunk. The landscape of social media has changed a lot. Yes. Stripper conversation on deck. So I just like a super, it might not be quick. I'm going to try a super quick sort of precursor to like how my sort of internet trajectory happened. I got on the internet when I was at Howard. I had a website called thatbitch.com, actually.
Thatbitch.com.
Because I am that bitch. And
what is that bitch?
But hold on,
we'll address that after you finish what you're saying.
Okay. And this is like kind of before social media as we know it now. Like it was like AIM and like message boards were hot. Like OK Player, I was like on the OK Player boards. I have my own board called Havoc. And that was kind of what social media was back in those days. It was message boards and blogs. Right. So I got really popular off of that. I actually put my cousin on. His name is Damon. He has a blog called Very Smart Brothers.
Oh, Damon Young. Shout out to him. We have a
tiny blog. You might have heard of it.
Shout out to Damon Young.
Yeah, I put that nigga on
in July or August.
Are you really?
Yes.
Okay.
We've been trying to get him on for a while.
He's busy. He's got a baby.
Well, and he just
you know how
he's
that's
got
like.
his big thing going. Like he's been on CNN and all that shit.
Yeah, Damon's busy. But that's my cousin. I love him to death. That's my big cuz. I actually put him onto blogging in 2003, I think, because he was just very talented. But I was already kind of a big deal on the internet. So a lot of his audience came from my blog. And this is shit he will even say. I do like to fuck with him about, nigga, I put you on, but I had a really big platform, and then Twitter came around in 2007. I joined Twitter back when it was like, if you put a link on Twitter back in the day, it didn't like automatically link it.
Really?
Yeah, you had to like copy and paste it. There were no hashtags. Black people invented hashtags.
Shout out to us.
We did, because we had a hashtag on Twitter back in the day, and it was hashtag BLCK, and that's how other black people found black people on Twitter.
Wow.
Like you would have to search it though. You couldn't click on it because Twitter has basically adapted itself to fit what the users have done. So hashtags, we're not clicking on it and then going to like that search screen that happens now. No, we invented that so people would search BLCK and find other black people on Twitter.
Wow.
Archaic as fuck.
I'm so mad that Twitter has history lessons at this point.
It does. I've actually, I was interviewed by Code Switch on NPR about that, about being like an old head on social media. And it's kind of interesting because we call like my industry, it's called new media because it is like new. It's within the last like sort of like 15 years tops that you could even major in web design in college. And I'm still young. That's what's crazy about it. I'm like an old head in new media at 30 something. So I think that's like kind of an interesting thing because it'll never be this again. Like I think so we're all in our 30s, right? I think we come from a school where when we were like little kids, there was no Facebook when we were little kids.
This is the Oregon Trail generation.
Right. Yeah, Oregon Trail was like motherfucking lit, son. Atari.
Yeah.
Like I used to go to my friend's house across the street, had a fucking Atari.
Like, I remember the computer lab, like my introduction to coding was Turtle. And it was like you would put in like these little things and you could make like a house or, I mean, like just little little shit. It was just a green
computer
screen
in the classroom.
And
y'all all had to take turns
and
playing.
And they were big as fuck.
Yeah.
And them computers weighed like 40 pounds, son. They were big as fuck.
And that's what we went to the little. We had like maybe 10 computers where we'd go in and we'd take turns like playing or whatever. And it was Turtle and it was Oregon Trail, and we still had rotary phones and shit and like all that. And now we live in a generation where
you went to the computer lab once a week, y'all.
That was it.
Y'all don't understand that.
And I loved that.
You didn't know what day. You just.
I love that day.
Your teacher just told you.
When the computers were like a black screen and the text was green, nigga, that's it. It was green or orange. So we talk like that. We are still in our 30s and we talk like that. And these like fucking 20 years are like, you are old as fuck. My God. Like, what,
I was
nigga?
talking to my,
you didn't have Facebook in elementary school, bitch? No. And I'm so glad.
What is the term like creators or end users or something like that? Like where like you're either on one side or the other, and like this generation is kind of like they're growing up using the product as opposed to
So that's why I kind of have an issue with like generational divides, right? Because the youngest millennials I think are like 22 and the oldest millennials are like 36.
Yeah.
So that's a huge motherfucking difference. When you're talking about millennials, like it's like a hot button issue. Like millennials are killing this. Millennials don't buy houses because houses are expensive and you fucked up our financial situation.
Ain't trying to fuck with
baby boomers. No offense, mom. But so I don't even think that like dividing people by like these 20-year gaps, because my brother's like Generation X, right? So he had like, because he was born in the 60s, so he has a different experience. But I think people born between, I'm going to say maybe like 75 and 88, maybe. I think that sort of gap, we have a very different experience than people directly younger or directly older.
The 1975ers?
Well, I used to say 75 to 85.
To Cool G rap. I wasn't listening to Cool G rap.
No, listen, it's not necessarily the music thing. It's the fact that you can actively remember your childhood without social media. And no other generation after that will ever have that experience.
I mean, I think every generation has that. There's some form. The way technology, like cars for the generation before that, it was like, oh, well, we're the only generation that's going to remember, having this and then, but with
electricity and shit.
Light bulbs and shit. Like, oh, yeah,
this is going to change the game.
Shit is popping, you know what I mean? Like,
electricity, my nigga.
I think with this generation, it is very much technologically driven and like online, like the internet is our like thing that, I mean, it's not the automobile, it's not the light bulb, it's not any of the telephone, it's the internet, which honestly has changed the world like so drastically. I mean,
quickly as well.
We've gone from survival to efficiency. That's what it is. Like the world knows how to survive. Now, how do we thrive in the most efficient manner?
Well, capitalism doesn't work because intellectual property laws, you're basically holding up, you're holding up the ability for other humans to get that and improve upon it. So honestly, stagnation, efficiency is best if everybody has access to that and they can improve upon it. When you got those motherfucking Nigerians like making shoe batteries and shit that could charge your phone out of like garbage and shit like that, it's like, imagine if that motherfucker if he had a computer lab, or just had access to like zinc, just dumb shit,
But it's a feast or famine world. That's what it is, and we just have to face that and just accept that and understand that that's what it is. It's feast or famine, and again, it's efficiency over survival at this point. So listen, efficiency might cut some motherfuckers out that are just trying to survive. Like just trying to survive. Oh, we passed that. We got enough money for that. Now we just trying to live. You know what I mean? That's how it is. And like talking to the younger generations, it makes me feel old. Not just because I say younger generations, but just because like the shit that I used to do seems so old now. Like I remember being at parties, getting twerk before it was called twerk. Pulling that phone out your pocket.
That was just
and flipping that bitch over in front of the girl so she can type her number in. So she can manually type her phone number. Because if she didn't type her number and name in, you lost that forever. She went to another school across town. You have no contact with her.
I remember not even talking to a chick if she had 2 zeros in her number because that was the rotary phone, and you know how long it take you to get that 0 all the way back over.
I ain't had a rotary phone.
And
a couple years older than me.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. I come from that shit like at night, like when your mom upstairs sleeping and you trying to sneak a telephone number and you got 2 zeros. Click, 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 like that. It's curtains. You ain't
rotary phone. And before y'all, we didn't even have like 3-way or call waiting. When I was mad. So my parents.
Oh, you got the busy signal.
The busy.
Phone.
They don't know what a busy signal is now.
They don't know what a dial tone is.
Teenager don't know what a fucking busy signal is.
They've never heard a dial tone. Check it. They've never heard a dial tone. They're like, the fuck is a dial tone?
Star 69, caller ID.
You immediately get a tweak. Why your phone ain't working?
It's to the point now when I call like certain, even when I call for delivery and they're like, they say my address. I'm like, how'd you know that? They're like, caller ID, bitch. My God.
I mean, you don't take it back.
Yeah,
like,
shit.
You ever call somewhere and they tell you your name? Yo, was this Ed? Hey, hold on, fam.
Yo.
Hold on.
Chill.
But basically, that makes a really big difference between these generational divides. Like, I think millennial could even be split in half.
Yeah.
Like the older, millennials. I don't feel the same.
The more appreciative sector of millennials that have lived in both worlds.
Yeah, like that straddle.
Because it'll never ever be the way it was directly before us or after. Like my brother's experience, he was a bona fide motherfucking adult before social media was a thing, right? And then the kids that are a little bit younger than us, will never have any fathomable clue of what it's like to not be like a 12-year-old on Instagram. Like my nephews got on Instagram at like 11. I was like, the fuck? They were posting like memes. I was like, stop it. Yeah. Listen, I consider myself a cool auntie. I've been an auntie since I was 9 years old. And I grew like my oldest niece, I grew up with that chick. Like she calls me by my first name. She don't call me auntie. My like younger nieces and nephews, I'm like, now I'm aunt.
Yeah.
But my 2 nieces that were born when I was a child, I'm Sarah. They call me by my first name.
That is a very Black thing though. Like white folks don't really call their aunts and uncles, like they just call them their first names or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like all my aunts are Aunt Kathy, Aunt Carrie. Yeah, I mean, like,
well, I have cousins. My dad's first cousins are my aunts too.
Yeah, the aunt thing
I got we got play cousins and shit.
Aunt could
like
be
I thought niggas not in. He's not actually related to me, but that's my cousin.
Auntie Jackie. We ain't related.
Yeah, no, there's no blood in there.
Hang out with my mom.
No blood whatsoever.
That's your mama's best friend.
Yeah, that's her homie.
Exactly.
That's the one they got the club pictures.
Exactly.
You got your mom that got the folded pictures where they standing in front of the Cadillac bent over and the sandals and shit. You're like, oh, that's how she used to do the kicking. Kids don't know that neither.
No, they
IG
don't.
and all that, you could do your own club pictures. You could see the whole turned up thing. We used to have to. I was in a generation where it was a big thing where you went to your first party and they had the photo booth with the little thing on down, and you and your mans could stand in the background and get your flick on, and then you had to go cop the picture.
Yeah,
and you had the picture. Like they don't know that.
No, they don't. So
it's making me feel old right now. I'm tired of these young millennials because I think millennial just means you want to push the envelope for efficiency, push ways where you could connect to more people more efficiently.
Yeah.
But again, we come from an aspect of, I remember having to do this and you don't even know how much damage I could have done if I did it. Like, we come from, you don't know what I could have done.
You sound like Uncle Ed right now.
I am old
Y'all whippersnappers.
They are whippersnappers, yo.
Y'all
you
young
want to talk about what you doing with
you sound like a cat daddy. You actually sound like a cat daddy.
You don't understand what you talk about having to deal with a chick across town when you was in high school in 1999, 2000.
Now a little nigga got Uber. You know what I mean? Like
okay, so
you ain't gotta get your mama car.
Thank you for bringing up Uber.
Nigga got Uber. Like, nigga,
you ain't gotta have a bank account with Uber. Nigga, you go down and get a prepaid debit.
You know how many babies moms I'd have if I had Uber when I was 16, my nigga.
No, Uber. Even if I had Uber in college, it would have definitely changed.
Oh, Uber in college?
I don't even know. Like, listen,
because in college you had to wait for the college shuttle.
Yeah.
You had to wait for that.
Or you had to walk.
You had to know a motherfucker that like there was. Yeah,
and there was not even like texting per se.
No.
Like it was just like calling on the landline.
I used to go to a kiosk at Pitt and aim chicks.
AIM. Listen,
instant message chicks.
I had some booty calls happen on AIM?
Yo, Instant Messenger got real.
There was this one. It was called ICQ.
Yeah, ICQ. I was on ICQ.
Oh yeah, I met a couple on ICQ at the computer lab.
Your age right now, baby. Yes, you are. Because ICQ, that's old school.
It was it was like the little.
AIM.
It was the side AIM, but
and
everybody on it was kind of
though. It was numbers. My AIM name was like 8 fucking numbers. If you reached me on ICQ, you really wanted to talk to me because you had to remember those 8 fucking numbers, bitch. It was not like Yahoo. I was like sugar, honey, iced tea. AIM, I was honey. But fucking ICQ, I was like 489-813.
Them like 2 a.m. lower expectations. For honey, called 597.
Them 2 a.m. computer lab chats were lit.
I don't even know how you even get an AIM. How you get a username for AIM? What's the conversation
I don't even know if it still exists. To be
shorty, what's your boop boop boop? Like how do you ask that? How do you ask that to a woman
it's
in the
IG
library?
now. When I always know, so I feel like I look younger than I am, right? Like I feel like a lot of people I get carded.
Black don't crack.
Yeah, no, until you told me you was in your 30s, I just assumed that you were
black
in your
don't
20s.
crack.
So yeah.
Well, I have a 12-year-old, so when I reveal that, they're
that
like,
don't mean nothing. That just means you at least 20.
I know they're
that
like,
means
so
at least
what? You had a
25.
baby at 14?
No, I definitely like when you said
12-year-old
I'm
means
like,
you're at least 25 because I know some chicks in middle school that had babies.
Yeah, that's
no, I do too, like for sure. But I definitely in my 30s, but I definitely look younger than I am. I get carded or whatever. So I meet younger men all the time. Younger men hit on me all the time. All the time. Like, I want a cat daddy. Can I get a cat daddy? Like, can I get like a 43-year-old daddy? Like
breaking
that
hearts
has
right now. You know how many 20-year-olds right now be walking looking at these photos?
They don't give a fuck. They hit on me all the time. All the time. I had a nigga who was younger than me. I was into my prerogative. I was at Arts Technica. That is a hood ass place. If you don't live in Pittsburgh, there's a place called Arts. Isn't it called Arts?
Arts in the Strip?
Oh, no. Arts Technica. That's a website. See, I'm a geek.
You talking about Arts in the Strip?
Arts Tavern.
Oh, Art. Shout out to Art.
Shout out Arts in the Strip?
I revealed the geekiest.
No, that's the old
Shout out to the whole family.
Me.
Shout out to Arts. I miss CJ's because that was the same
family.
CJ,
You can
same family.
Like,
was it
people
Whiskey
smoke
Dicks
in there,
that?
son.
I think it might have been Whiskey Dicks before that.
No, honey. Arts Tavern has been there for a long time.
Yeah, Arts been there for a long time.
But see,
Art don't even go there anymore.
We were talking about cat daddies. There was a place across the street from Arts Tavern called CJ's.
That was his daughter.
Nigga, I'm
Art's
so
daughter.
sad that CJ's shut down. If you wanted to find a cat daddy in Pittsburgh,
CJ's
you just had to go to CJ's. I went there with my mama and my aunties, okay? I went to CJ's.
Oh,
they had chicken. The booze was cheap or whatever. Yeah. But I went to Arts.
One of them was like a 25 and over dip.
Well, Arts was 30 and over.
30, yeah, it was 30 and over.
So I could never 25 and over.
Yes, yeah. See, and that's why I couldn't get into them whenever I was in my I was in Miami.
I didn't even move here to 3 days. No. Are you thinking about Ace?
No, I'm talking about I'm talking about the strip.
Fifth down in the hill. AC
Deucey was
okay.
I'm talking about.
I only know because my family is from Pittsburgh, so I know about these spots. I moved here 3 years ago, but I
never had the fake ID to get. I ain't know the motherfuckers.
You gotta have a fake ID to get in the spots. You gotta know people.
Yeah, I ain't know the motherfuckers.
Was like, that's a hood ass spot. That's the first place I went. But
first of all, neither one of those 3 spots are hood ass spots. They're hood looking, but you gotta understand the type of element that they're trying to attract. Those age limits weren't about, we want a more mature crowd in the sense of age. It's more about we want people who come here ain't gonna start no trouble.
Exactly.
A hood spot to me is
not
not necessarily a spot where you're gonna go and see the riffraff. It's a spot where they're gonna have we gonna have your good fried chicken dinner just in case you gotta fill your stomach. Put something on. We're gonna have your Hennessy for $6 where you get a real double, not that bullshit where we put the ice up to the top. No, we giving you a double first, and then if you want ice, fine. We got women from the neighborhood who are going to be
those establishments were establishments that, like, growing up, I heard, and they stayed in.
Are you from here originally?
I'm from Pittsburgh originally.
Okay.
I'm from Braddock, So, like, like those were establishments that I heard on Whammo, coming up. Like, come through, the party. And, like, it was one like, I would drive down and want to get in so bad because, like, I would see all, like,
but
it
you
with
were a baby.
I was, so I had to go all the way down to, like, Tequila Willie's,
See, I'm like a Renaissance man I'm a Renaissance man in the sense of what the spots I I went to because I was at Tequila Willie's.
Yeah, because
I was at Margarita Mama's. You take advantage of all the well drink specials.
Truth.
But I also like the thing about like our Arts, the CJs, and the AC Deuces is that's where like the young African American women who went to Pitt, who maybe had ties to the neighborhood, their family was from the north side, or they was from the city, they would hit them spots. You know what I mean? So you could
or
go
Shadow
down,
Lounge, R.I.P.
Shadow Lounge, man.
Shadow Lounge was a little.
I wish I lived in Pittsburgh.
It was more college appropriate for during my time. But like the AC Deuces stuff, it was only certain individuals who would go to these spots. So you could go down there and connect with a female on that level. Like, yo, we could hit these spots.
Yeah.
But you away from the Pitt crowd, you away from the college crowd, but you also got the cheap liquor. But it's like Hennessy and shit like that. You have a good ass time.
And that atmosphere is what I saw when I was out in Cleveland. You see a lot more of that where it's
Shout out to the land,
you know
baby.
what I mean? Like where you had certain sections of that, like those establishments like down in the strip, and you might have had one or two, you know what I mean, around the city. Yeah. Like when I said, just being downtown, I saw like established, like I saw people that were, that were integrated, and it was like you got those environments.
Because
you got a representation
the thing
of
about Cleveland, and we're waiting for this, and I think we're on the cusp of this in Pittsburgh, and I think Penn Hills was trying to do this. Cleveland has a black middle class neighborhood. Like we have middle class neighborhoods where you go to a neighborhood, it's middle class. They're all homeowners.
Like what is it? Shaker Heights? Is that a middle class?
Shaker is where a lot of people from Pittsburgh will go when they're in Cleveland. They'll live in Shaker. Like if you talk to people from Pittsburgh who have ties to Cleveland, a lot of it's Shaker. But Shaker's right next to Kinsman, which is the hood. But it's not even that. My mom lives in Cleveland Heights. You go somewhere in Cleveland Heights, like you go to certain areas, it's black families. Again, you're talking about people with nice lawns, nice yards, nice cars.
Yeah.
You know, they may be blue collar jobs where they're working at, a post office, something like that, where they're collecting a pension, fine, but they're living well, and it's a neighborhood where you might be outside with your kids and you see black families walking up and down the street, and it ain't about no bullshit. Now you go right down Taylor, you in East Cleveland, which ain't necessarily the best place to be, but it Cleveland has that, and Pittsburgh, I think, again, when I look out on the landscape and talking to professionals, like for example, a lot of Port Authority people, they buy houses in Penn Hills, and Penn Hills has that sort of feel, and it's on its way in my opinion. Like, and that's what's missing. Like a young professional, black professional here, when they get their job, if they just had that middle class neighborhood to get into, like the thing that
black
attracts
middle
people,
class, the thing that
very
attracts
hard
people
to find in Cleveland
Pittsburgh,
that are from Cleveland that never want to leave. Because I was just at my man's crib at a cookout on Memorial Day, and we were just all sitting on the porch, we drinking whatever, and we just talking like they talking about they never want to leave. Now I went to college, so I left. I've been in New York. I've traveled all over the country and stuff like that. And my thing is like, this is good here, but these places, once they get this middle class neighborhood, motherfuckers ain't gonna be coming back to Cleveland. Like niggas, you go to a Maryland. And be able to afford that. You don't want to, you know what I mean? You don't want to stay there. So if you go to a Maryland and they got a black middle class where you can make
Maryland has a really, really big black middle class.
You make a 60, like you can't make 60,000 in Maryland and talk about feeding the family. You can't make 60,000 there and be in a middle class neighborhood. In Cleveland, you make 60,000. In Pittsburgh, you make 60,000.
Yeah, you can.
You got a $150,000, $200,000 crib, which is bigger than a $200,000 crib here is 4 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, finished basement, 2-car garage, all that shit. $200,000 crib in like a Jersey, Maryland, something. That's a motherfucker 2-bedroom.
Shit.
Well, you ain't getting shit for that in New York.
You ain't getting nothing.
You ain't getting shit. Like coming.
That's rent for 3 years, my nigga. That's
like moving to this area was the first time I thought about, I could like be a homeowner. Like most New Yorkers don't function around home owning.
Yeah.
You're not owning shit in New York, motherfucker, especially now. You're not owning shit. I always pictured myself to be an apartment person. I was like, I lived in the cork factory. And I was like, I'm going to live in lofts and apartments forever. And it wasn't until I actually went to LA about a month and a half ago to shoot American Woman. And I was like, oh, these houses are nice. I was like, ooh, palm trees. Like just side note, because I'm definitely drunk now. The vegetation in LA looks like Jurassic Park.
And they got tar pits on there.
I was like, ooh la la. Like, look at the vegetation. I was in the cab. The cab driver was like, you okay? I was like, look at the trees. I ain't never seen no trees like that.
Did they identify you as a non-Californian?
Definitely. No, I am
this
so
motherfucker
not
amazed.
LA. I'm mad East
That's how
Coast.
the Uber drivers
I'm mad
be
East Coast. And the
capitalizing off
funny
these
thing
women.
is, I was actually born in Denver.
Take you to scenic
I
route.
was born in Denver, but I'm decidedly like not West. Like the West has been like yanked out of me after like most of my life being an East Coast cat.
Yeah.
So people see me in LA and they're like, where are you from? Because you like
Don't answer that.
You
Listen, if
definitely
it's a
like
dude
I wear
driving a
black.
Uber or a
I
Lyft,
wear
don't
black
answer that.
all the time. Like that's
Running
it.
game. You know it's all about efficiency now. Damn, trying to get to know you. I'm trying to figure out my angle. Where you from? Let me go to my
No,
Rolodex.
it's not even like
Give me
it's
some
like
fun facts.
well, it's kind of like now people are like they don't even approach me like you have kids. It's like how many kids do you have? I'm like nigga, how do you know that I have kids?
I don't even want to know
Well,
how
Do I
many
have
kids.
like
I
a
don't.
kid
as a
look?
man,
I don't even
Do I look
understand.
parent-
I don't
parental?
I don't even understand that. Like, because like when I'm talking to her, the last thing I want to talk about is your kids. Like,
No,
I just.
Yeah, I
so
don't-
a
That ain't,
dude-
I mean,
I was in New York. I was in New York a month, a week and a half
mom, so I can
ago.
smash maybe in the bedroom next to him. I don't know.
Well,
That-
you're probably
that's
better at
kinda
it
fucked
than
up.
most of the niggas that hit on me. But I was in New York about a month and a half ago. I was back in New York shooting American Woman, and this dude from the Bahamas, you know, we had a little cute conversation, and he was like, "How many kids do you have?" I was like,
But understand.
"I was like,
that's a
how do you know?"
compliment.
I was like, "How do you know?"
That's
that
a
I have
compliment.
kids, like it was just well,
It is a
it was
compliment,
just strange to me.
Well,
but you
can I
know,
tell
do you know
from
how
a
we
man's
got?
perspective? What that means?
Okay, tell me.
That means you're rawable. And they understand because no,
They're like, oh, somebody put a baby in you.
Remember, Mr. and Mrs. been rawed before. So they remember that because rawable is a thing for me. So basically, if a man asks you up front how many kids you have, that means he'll hit it raw.
Well, but anyway, the reason we got on this conversation, Ed, is because I was talking about I was
we're having fun.
when I go to Art's Tavern. I had a dude actually said, so they were playing like My Prerogative by Bobby Brown, and I was singing it because, you know, if you don't know all the words to Bobby Brown, like just, I don't know what the fuck your life is about. But this dude came up to
wholeheartedly
me.
agree with that. God damn, yes.
And his intro was, what you know about this? It was My Prerogative. What you know about this? I was like, a lot, nigga. The fuck? He was like, oh, this is before your time. I was like, how old do you think that I am? And he was like, I don't know, like 23, 24. I was like, no, baby, you need to like add a good decade to that. But I get that a lot. Like full circle moment. I'm drunk and I'm still bringing it along to where we were an hour ago.
No, we like to call back.
I get hit on by young men a lot, like 25 and under, who think that I am the same.
Yeah.
And it's like within like 10 minutes, especially if we start talking about music, because I'm a huge music head too. Like I owned a site called soulbounce.com until a few years ago, which was basically a platform to launch like a lot of new soul and R&B acts.
Really?
Yeah, it's still around. It's a dope site.
There aren't many sites that do that to the R&B.
Soul,
like, to
Soul
launch
Bounce has
them.
been around
Yeah.
since 2008. And God, it would take another like 2 hours to talk about like my actual history on the internet.
Or
Like
you
I've
could Google
owned-
her, bitch.
Or you could Google me, motherfucker. Like if you go to sarahhoneyyoung.com. And the honey is spelled Huny.
We do that at the end.
I
We
know
don't
you
get
do.
your
I've
media.
listened to your podcast.
No,
Thank you.
haven't.
I listened to the podcast with Natalie and Kim.
Oh yeah, we were on our
And
on our
Gal.
best
Is her name
behaviors.
Gal?
Nah,
The
I
woman.
don't
I
think
was
we
like,
were.
let me skim for the women. So I'll tell y'all
Gab.
real
I don't
quick.
think we
Gab
were
Vanessa.
on our best
So y'all got when they
That's
hit
how
me
we
up.
Devolved into
Did we talk- that's
debauchery
what we
at some
were-
point.
Y'all were
Next
talking
Taylor's
about
around,
blue
though.
dicks. It was like a conversation
Yeah,
about blue dicks. I was like, where are we right now? I was like blow drying my hair, like, oh, we're on blue dicks now. But listen, I just like when these brothers. So side note, they are so cute. Oh my God, they're so cute. They're so handsome. You just want to like.
Yeah.
So when they hit me up about this podcast,
Oh, that was us. I didn't know who she saw.
no, you fool.
Well, I appreciate
Wait, you
that.
talking about us?
Yeah, I ain't
I
know.
thought you was talking about the dudes that were hitting on her in the bar. I didn't know, like,
they're
I'm
ugly.
like, okay, we making a love connection here. Oh, well,
I love
I'm
finding.
semi-handsome, but thank you.
I'm just glad that it wasn't, unreciprocated. 'Cause
No.
I've been sitting here this whole time like, yeah.
I know. Did you look at my titties? Because
Did I?
I have titties and ass for days.
I am
This
a
part of the
straight
podcast has to go.
grown man. I don't know if you noticed or not. I'm grown and I'm straight. So, that's not even a question you're supposed to ask two grown men. Did you notice
you.
not?
No, I was talking about
Did
you niggas.
Notice me noticing you?
So these niggas usually...
That's the real question. Because if
like,
not, then
these
I did it
niggas
right.
usually drink beer. I got them drinking whiskey. We have fucked up this whole half a bottle of whiskey.
Oh, shout out to
And
Bullet
it's
Bourbon.
lit.
Yeah, we lit,
But no,
we
Ed
can drink
and
this
Day
as
are
well, yo.
very fucking handsome. They are so
very
cute,
much.
just black men, just beards. They're so sexy. It's so fucking sexy in here right now. But listen,
It's a sexy.
now,
thing
I'm
right now.
definitely drunk right now.
Definitely got
I'm
sexy.
amused.
I don't know.
Well, anytime
By
you bring
how
up
drunk I
Arts
am.
I feel like the
Tavern,
ghost of sexy past came in.
anytime you bring up
Bless
Arts
us all.
Tavern,
Yes.
yeah, and I'm right there with you on the Arts Tavern thing because I've had fun there and it's all love.
You can, like, people smoke in there.
Yeah, well, that's the
They
thing.
smoke. I was like,
You're talking about-
cigarettes? There's cigarettes in here.
You
Like,
gotta have a
again,
healthy-
like, I'm like, oh, this is like old school
The
because
city
y'all
has to have a healthy
mixture.
mixture of bougie spots, spots where you
Savoy.
dance. Yeah, spots where you dance. And you just got to have those down home spots where the owner's in there. He's drinking too. He's not even, you know what I mean? Like Art used to be in that motherfucker, like lit on the side.
Yeah.
Like you like those
You can't
spots.
even-
You
Okay,
gotta
I
be
can't
at,
even
like, I
bring
feel
my
like that's the
purse
best way
in
to run a
ours.
spot is to be at your spot. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, make sure that it's a good thing. You know what I mean? And, I guess at some point,
In
if you
business,
get too big,
though-
if you get too big or whatever, but they weren't a chain.
Right.
Like, he owned that spot. That was
Right.
his spot. So
And-
it was, you
and
know what I
it's
mean?
very
That's the theme with business
historical, yeah.
overall. Like with us, like it's not just talking craft beer, it's going to these breweries
Yeah.
and enjoying these breweries. And then for you, like with you being an artistic director and all of that, or creative director and artist, photographer, when you meet these individuals, okay, yeah, I may be doing a photo shoot for you, but then if I patronize the product or if I'm walking around and I'm in your culture and your thing, then it makes one, my job more fulfilling, and two, those photographs that we put out, they're more authentic. You know what I mean? The site that I build for you, it's more authentic. Like it's very good to be a part of the industry, that you represent professionally. So that's what's up.
So before we go, because the fans, they've been asking, I mean, we tweeted out that we were talking about some strippers and some strippers. So you got to tell us.
I was
your
not on, so
favorite.
because I'm
You
not
can
on social
tell us-
media for certain hours.
Oh no, it was
I was
yeah,
not
it
a
was
part of this
brilliant.
conversation.
We got.
I did.
Shout,
At some
Wifey
point, I
just
said
came
we're
from
gonna talk
KOD.
about
shout out to
strippers and
Barry.
chicken.
Shout out to Barry. Podcast and Colors, man. She shows so much love, man.
That's
And
my
sweetheart,
bitch.
Male.
She is actually from Denver too. Again,
Yeah.
I was
And we
born,
got to
I'm born in
strippers. We got
Denver.
to talk about the word bitch. But
Okay, let's.
yeah, but
that
yo,
is
shout
my
out to Barry,
bitch.
yeah.
Danielle is cool as shit.
She
Oh,
is.
can I say her name? I don't know. Barry is cool as fuck.
I just
is
go by
so
to Twitter
cool.
today because I don't know who got government jobs and how
She
they be
is
trying
cool
to.
as fuck.
But she
She's
shows
cool.
so
She's
much
very
love, and she's
supportive. I
built this
love her.
community
She has.
of like the black pot. Like she's
Yeah.
built this hub.
Wifey has
you know what I
found
mean?
Yeah.
value in that, and like even though I don't always interact with her like physically on the tweet thing, I notice what you're doing, sweetheart, and I really do appreciate
Yeah,
it.
no,
So I just wanted
we
to make
all
sure that
appreciate it.
shout
I
that
mean,
out.
Ditto.
the whole black podcast community, the artistic community. I mean, like we shout out. I mean,
Yeah.
but we were promised a stripper store, so you got to tell us your favorite stripper store.
Yeah, I love the
mean,
strippers.
yeah,
I love the strippers.
So I do. I mean, this is no surprise to people who have been following me for a really long time because I used to blog about how much I like strip clubs. Like you cannot. I feel like you can't be a young person in New York and not frequent strip clubs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like shout out to
I heard they
Sue's Rendezvous, which just closed down. I don't know what the fuck that's about. That's in the Bronx.
Yeah.
So I lived
heard
in the
about
South
that,
Bronx
too.
first, and then I moved to Harlem.
Do they serve food at strip clubs? in New
You
York?
damn right
See,
they
don't
do, and that
serve
shit is
food at
delicious.
Strip clubs over like all the
God
Pittsburgh
damn
don't
it,
have real strip
wings.
clubs.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Pittsburgh
saying.
has
Like,
gentlemen's
I would-
clubs.
Okay, so I've never
Pittsburgh
been to a
has
strip club in
gentlemen's clubs.
Pittsburgh.
Not strip clubs.
See, is that the difference?
Yeah,
'Cause
gentlemen's clubs
I keep
are a
hearing
little
these
different.
motherfucking stories about buffets and
Yes.
shit, and like
Yes.
I watched King of the Hill, and it was like buffets and shit,
No,
and I got
okay.
none of that when I went to the strip club.
Day, I gotta take you to New York. Bro. I can't wait.
my
Come to
God,
New York.
yes.
I'm going to New York in probably July.
You know what? It's happening.
Come with your girl, because son, there's this. Okay, so
There must be
there was
strip
two strip
stadium.
clubs that is mad tight in New York. The first was Sue's Rendezvous.
Sue's Rendezvous. If you're listening right now, Sue's.
No, it closed.
Oh, it closed?
It's over,
like a month and a
Sue's is
half
over,
ago.
bruh.
It is like legendary.
No, yeah.
Legendary. Like
It didn't
Cardi
even
B.
made its way into
Cardi
battle
B.
Wow.
Cardi B is from Sue's Rendezvous. Like every bad bitch that comes from New York was at Sue's Rendezvous. It was in the Bronx.
So that's
It was another place called the
R.I.P.
Golden Lady.
And that's not there either?
The Golden Lady's closed. But
because all the strippers are stripping on Instagram.
That's true. They have a new hustle.
And it's a lucrative hustle. Like
it
rappers
is a
will
lucrative
send them
hustle.
their track.
No,
they'll
listen.
twerk to their track on Instagram.
What did Pimp C say? He said, "Pimpin' they did it, just moved to the web."
But female strippers are fucking pimps too.
Yeah.
They are hustlers like shit.
Yeah.
They are entrepreneurs. I've had conversation with him. I'm like with them. They are about their fucking business. Sure, like the younger, like not seasoned girls will like do stuff that they don't have to necessarily do. Yeah. But these like girls who've been in the scene for a minute, you cannot help but respect their business savvy. They are about their shit. I respect the fuck out of strippers.
My first experience, I was 18. I was like, I get to go to the strip club or whatever. I went to the strip club and I spent in Pittsburgh. Yeah, and this is,
he went to a gentleman's club.
And got a couple lap dances, whatever. I mean, I got finessed out of like $120 in 18-year-old like money, right? So this is $120.
They let you in.
It was 8. I just turned 18.
I was 18 years old.
And
18 is when
I was definitely 21 the first time I went to it was New York. They're really crazy about that.
So it was 18. I got finessed out of $120, and this is $120 in $18 money. You know what I mean? Like $18 money is
that's
like
everything you got.
That's your whole rent. That's your car paper. Like
you didn't
things
get
like
finesse,
that.
Brother, you was in a strip club.
Well, so I mean, I didn't go back to that spot. Cause I didn't. At that point, it was like strip clubs. Like, why am I paying to get teased? Right? Like, it's like if I'd have paid $120 at a real club, I would have gone home with something. You know what I mean? So that was my thing in me going in. But like, I was at this fucking strip club when we did Lust and Loathing and that shit. Brooklyn, it was in that man. And I mean, I'm telling you, man. I mean, 20 years, almost 20 years later, and she almost finessed me out of some rent money. I mean, they are about
amazing.
Their motherfucking business.
So
they are about their business.
So
ladies is pimps too.
Yes, they are.
Here's another advantage of Cleveland over Pittsburgh. When you young, first of all, I went to my first strip club at the age of 16, and a shorty that I went to school with actually was stripping at the club. Now I didn't know. My man's knew, and that's why he told us to go. He knew, and she was in the band, and she was doing band moves. I was like, oh shit, like she was doing moves for them. But I ain't even hate like whatever. Like the thing you learn about strippers when you deal with them at a young age, and you dealing with like when you look at them like. They are willing to do things that other people aren't willing to do for money, such as showing their vagina. Like they ain't mean they trying.
In Pittsburgh?
Everybody. It's not in Pittsburgh. Well, I don't know. Maybe in Pittsburgh they don't.
That's some DC shit.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Like DC, they get naked as fuck. They don't get naked
titties
in
and
New
vagina.
York.
Most women aren't willing to show that for money because they look down upon that. Women, these strippers see that shit as an asset. Like they see that as something that they can provide.
You know how much provide.
I kind of do respect them for that. I just don't want my daughter to do it.
Listen, if I could show my dick, and make $150 in a couple hours, I would do it. Are you fucking kidding me? If I could show my,
you could. Well, I don't know. Let me see your stomach. Do you got abs?
I got a six pack.
You got abs?
I got a six pack.
Let me see.
You can't just be showing your shit like when you a stripper.
Shit.
He's not breathing right now.
And that's the thing that exists. You know what I'm saying?
This nigga got abs. Wait, let me see it again.
I'm just saying. It's a thing that exists.
He's like just hairy enough. You know what I mean? Like not hairy enough to be like, nigga, I can't see nothing. But hairy enough to be like, oh, that's a man.
If I could pull that out and make a couple hundred, I would do that.
No, okay, so men, I'm sorry, men strippers are not my thing.
They're not on nearly as high demand as women
because
they make good money though. They are really aggressive. They pick you up and like flip you over the head. I'm like, nigga, I weigh 200 and motherfucking 15 pounds, nigga. Do not pick me up. You will play yourself. Like, don't pick me up unless you got the fucking weight to pick me up. Like, if you can't like throw me against some shit, don't pick me up. Male strippers like to like, they get too.
They like to smack you with their penises, I heard too.
Ew, no, I don't like that.
Smack, they kind of live. They still men. Like they kind of get to live. They kind of get to live out fantasies.
I don't want it. I don't like
stripping.
niggas. I don't like no.
Okay.
So I don't. Okay,
Women do
that's
like
a whole
female
nother
strip
topic.
clubs.
We would need another two because I'm drunk and I'm about to get reckless.
2:15.
So what's our conclusion on this?
That is dessert.
So the conclusion I've drawn from the stripper conversation is one: women.
I'm a thick snack, daddy.
That is dessert.
Thicker than
There's
the
a whole
snicker.
lot of body happening.
whole-
Me and my cousin used to say thicker than
That's a whole
cold
lot of
grits.
body.
You know what I mean? But,
That's
One.
real Cleveland of you.
well, that's all right though.
Thicker than day-old grits.
Thicker than cold grits.
I am thick as fuck.
I'm
Way
not,
too much.
listen.
Who's
I'm
your
kinda
next
sober.
interview? I might be
I'm
sitting right
kinda
next to her with like
sober.
my head on her shoulder
Hold on, I'm kind of sober.
because I can't drive home right now.
I'm gonna bring it back.
You should
One.
sober out. You should sober
Strippers
out.
with female
Hang out for the next
strip
podcast.
clubs with female strippers
Do
are the
part-
business.
part
Strip clubs with
1.5.
male strippers, not so much the business.
Did you know in Philly? Okay, this might be
oh, in
different
Philly,
now.
they stripping under a bridge where there's a hole in the wall. So yeah, nah.
No, if you're a woman that goes to a strip club in Philly, because I lived in Philly for like 5 months. Like I went through a breakup and I was like, I'm moving to Philly, and then I was like a bartender for like 5 months in Philly, and then I moved back. This was like when I was like 23. So they won't let you in the strip club as a woman in Philly if you don't have a man with you.
Really?
And again, this could be very different now. This is like 10 plus years ago.
Really?
But I was like, the fuck? I was like, yo, I'm from
I've
New
been
York,
like,
son. I
the
don't need a
fuck,
nigga to
too.
come in a strip club. The fuck? I had to actually bring a nigga to a strip club in Philly.
Wow.
Because
Some
so
random guy like.
Are you sure they just didn't look
No
at
one's
you
a
and
random
be
guy,
like,
Ed, the fuck kind of bitch you think I am. It was a
It
nigga
could have
that
just
I
been
knew.
somebody that you was like, yo, come in this strip club with me.
Be like, hey, nigga,
like when you trying to
hey,
buy
nigga
liquor
on the
and shit?
street.
Like, look, don't just
Come
go
in
in.
so I could get in.
Yeah, I mean,
And then you
oh,
can
y'all
leave.
walking in?
No, it
That's
was
how I
a
got in the
dude I
frats.
knew.
Hey,
But
y'all,
he-
was y'all walk? Let me just walk through with y'all real quick.
He did tell me, he was like, the women in Philly, you can't like go to strip club by yourself. I was like, oh, I could never stay here for
Yeah,
real. That's why I didn't move to Philly. So all of my friends know that I fucking, until maybe like 2 years ago, did not fuck with Philly at all. And the big reason was like, if I want to go to strip club, I should be able to just walk in with impunity.
You should.
And
But then
just, I still
then
have
steal
that
the money. See,
memory.
that's the thing. I don't know if this was an all-around thing or if bouncers just looked at you and was like,
Because I'm like, if I walk
You're
into
a
a strip club,
distraction.
like I'm like,
You
all
want me in
these,
distraction.
all these
Nah.
bitches is paying attention to me. Like y'all niggas is dead to these
Yeah.
bitches when I walk in a strip
Yeah.
club because I got money. I'm
Yeah.
cute as fuck,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I
like women,
love
women
strippers.
are paying
I mean,
for dances. Women is tipping.
You
in
damn
there.
That's what I'm
fucking
saying,
right.
man.
I have
They
bought my
bringing the party to the
nigga.
strip
I have bought
club.
my nigga a dance in the strip club
Yeah.
before. I am not threatened by that. I'm like, yes, daddy, get your fucking. I will tip a bitch who is putting her ass on a man's face. I think that's awesome. I love it. I love strippers.
Ah, man.
And it
Stripper
definitely
ass on your
took.
face do make you feel kind of.
It's wonderful.
If you're not a super
I think
strip club guy.
any sex workers, period. I'm like, if you are in charge of your money and you are making the decisions around your sexuality and how you want to use your body, I have to respect that. I am not a respectability politics girl.
Yeah, I mean, I say again, if you're pimping the game and you're running the game, then do what you do. Like I don't necessarily. I've never looked down on strippers because it's like, well, they making their money, and now with the internet and the web and all that, you know, they're making their money.
Yeah, they're
different
running
ways. So,
IG.
like, don't look down on anyone who's making their money. They are willing to do what they got to do for their money. Respect that, and also don't look at individuals as having to fit in certain boxes because they're professionals. Like, yo, you can be a young professional, you can be a Renaissance man or woman, and you can enjoy going to strip clubs and doing all of that.
You know,
what
my
I
nigga,
mean?
you know how many fucking women like make like grands off of just showing their fucking feet? Like, this is dumb shit. There's
Well, that's because weirdos like you
There's just
be
so
into just
there's so
feet.
many weird.
Wait,
like,
okay,
but it's
so
just
I
like,
was listening to one of your old episodes. One of you is into feet. Is it you?
yeah, I'm like,
You're a feet guy.
Any
Day's a freak.
Any weird, just random
is
shit.
that why you wore
That
sandals?
doesn't
I'm
make
just-
you a feet
It wasn't,
freak.
but I do have cute feet though.
Yeah.
So Day is light skinned.
Day is
Wow, I
light-skinned.
felt so much colorism in that statement, and I'm
No,
like, and
you're
I'm
beige.
befuddled because I just got back from Florida. I got burnt, and I felt like I was gonna dodge some
Wait,
light
so
skin
this
slander.
is you with a
Nah, you
tan?
like
This is me with a. This is me.
Oh,
yeah,
sweetie.
I'm like, I thought I was gonna dodge some of the light skin
God.
slander.
You light, bro.
It's just bullshit.
We
Man.
gotta tie
little
tie
beige.
this all in. So let's end this because we gonna devolve into something.
Yeah,
so
it's gonna be ridiculous.
like normally,
It's
yeah.
I
the
feel
whole
like I haven't talked about my work at all.
No, we talked about American Woman.
We
and
did. That's good.
know what?
I'm so
Your-
drunk
when-
right
when
now.
you come on this-
introduction into it, like
when you come on this podcast, people are, there's just what you do, but they want to know you, and I
Right.
feel like they know you.
And I think, again, from my understanding of your social media presence, you are a real person, and that's most people's attraction to you. And there are not many people who can just be themselves on social media,
I
and not
agree
even
with
just
that.
be themselves in where they know a bunch of people are going to listen that they don't even know. You don't know who's going to listen to this. You don't know
Yeah.
who's listening to this.
There's not a
but
lot of
be
people.
yourself.
There's not a lot of people that can like be them, like that can even. Well, a lot of people have fronts. And like, they get on the podcast and they got to talk for an hour and they were talking to an hour and a half. And then you introduce alcohol in it. And then at the end of the podcast, they're calling you like, I don't know if
It's a
I want
totally different
Yeah, then like
person.
they call you in the podcast like, I don't know if I want
So
that
listen,
to be.
from minute
Yeah, I mean,
27 to minute 48, we
can
need that
you
to be
delete
No,
all
I
that?
am
And it's
me.
like, yeah,
I am
so-
me all the time.
And we
I am
love
me
you
all the
for it.
time. Nobody listening to me is like, oh my God, I didn't know that about
Nah,
Honey.
nah.
They'll be like, oh no, this bitch
Yeah.
is like definitely cusses. Like, okay, so Ed was like, oh, I feel like you don't cuss that much because you asked if you could cuss. Nigga, I
We
cuss
know.
all the motherfucking
well, okay,
time.
so
We
she
know now.
said
fuck,
before
fuck,
we started.
fuck makes my teeth
Before we
white.
started, shout out to Paul Mooney.
Fuck shit, nigga, bitch. Like, I love cussing, and every podcast I've ever been on is like, honey, you need to watch your mouth.
I don't. Okay,
So
so
I appreciate
was thrown
y'all.
off by the way you asked the question because she was like, "Can I cuss on this podcast?"
I don't sound like that.
No,
I don't.
No,
wait,
you do. Though.
Well, no, do my
That's-
voice
you-
again.
Yeah,
Ed, do my voice again.
Well, I'm just talking about this particular thing. Can I cuss on this podcast? Like I saw you, like you had on the schoolgirl
I don't
outfit.
even
You had
talk
a
like
book.
that.
Before the liquor. Before the liquor. Rewind this podcast. What she sounded like is what she sounded like.
Cuss
And this is
on
what we do.
I don't talk like that. Everybody's like, "Who is that bitch?"
No, now you got.
I'm like,
now all that bourbon is bringing all that sultry black in you. That very first, like, listen to
because
that
I've
part.
never met y'all, so I feel like I have to be at least like 40% classy for niggas I've never met.
So glad
Oh,
our
we appreciate
reputations
that.
do not precede us.
Yeah. Nah,
'Cause they
yeah.
probably are good.
I was like, I can't give them all of Honey all at one time because Ed was like, so who the fuck are you?
That's not what I said. Even though you did tell me to Google
What do you
you.
do, bitch? This is about to be on my show.
That's not what I said.
He was like, what? Who are you?
So y'all gotta understand.
I was like, nigga, you ain't Google me. So can
I told you. I told
can
you she
give-
said
can
that.
I give context
I'm
to that
real.
shit? The
I
context.
told you
The
she
context.
said that.
Full
Ed,
circle.
Ed,
This
the
podcast comes full
context-
circle.
The context was the
Google
first
me,
thing Ed
bitch.
said to me after high was, so who are you, bitch?
That's not what I said. I said, so what do you
That's
do?
my fucking.
We have a
that
very
is how
diverse
that is how I'm
list
translating
of
it.
guests. And honestly, so my role on this cast is to create
Is to know
the
nothing about the
interview.
guests.
I gotta create the interview. I gotta do the interview.
He asks all the hard hitting questions.
I have to ask the questions.
He's
and
like,
make
so
this
what do you
shit
do?
Somewhat linear, and I gotta find out. Like, if you got somebody who's got artist and photographer and creative director in their bio, what do you want to talk about? That's basically what I was saying. Like, what do you want to talk
Like, I
about?
want to talk about strippers and chicken.
That's exactly what she
And I was
talked
like,
about.
oh,
Strippers
okay.
and chicken.
So she
I
did.
feel I
it
feel like
was-
I haven't talked about my project.
You know what? It's okay because you're
No,
gonna.
because
This
I
ain't the
wrote
this
notes
ain't the
to
last
myself.
time.
I felt myself getting drunk. I want y'all to know what a respectable drunk I am. I wrote notes to myself
We do that sometimes, and then
because I was like, oh, I'm fucked up.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Welcome to Drinking
Welcome
Partners.
to Drinking
This is your first time, but it will not be your last.
No,
time.
no,
we-
I would love
you
to
are-
come back.
Very much enjoyed
this
you.
is
You are
been-
now on you're in the list of people we will have as guest hosts. If one
Yeah,
of us is
yeah.
here.
You get a guest
I
host
would
list.
love it
We
because
definitely
Ed came
appreciate-
in like all shy. And I was like, yo, give this nigga 30 minutes with me.
Nah,
And he
I'm
go,
not
know
shy
who
at
the
all.
fuck I am, nigga. So I only said Google me because he was like, who are you, bitch? Like, I don't introduce myself like I'm Honey, Google me, bitch. Like, I don't do that.
That's what she told me.
I don't
And here
do
I am
that.
You
trying
might do that. It
We
depends on
try
how
to
much
create
bullshit
it
you
I
got
don't
in
do
you.
as a
that. I
professional
keep it
environment
very
as
cute.
possible.
But Ed was like, bitch, who are you? So this is
Not
the
what I
Honey.
said.
I know this is the Honey This is the 2 hour on bullet. Like this is
Bullet
the
bourbon.
2 hour on lots of alcohol with no chaser or no ice. I'm like hot.
We give it
just
to you
my
straight.
nipples
No
are like
chaser.
hot. My nipples are hot.
Humble brag.
I don't think my nipples have ever been
Got on
hot.
all black
But
in the
somehow
summer,
my
baby.
nipples are hot. I wear black all the time because I'm a New Yorker. But I do have to shout out
Please do.
the Pittsburgh women who have been a part of American Woman thus far.
Yes, please.
You have Liana Mantis. You have Anquanique.
Shout out, boom.
Anquanique,
in the
Boom
building.
Concept. She's just such a talented, gorgeous.
definitely one
Her
of our
voice is sickening. It's ridiculous. Kilolo Luckett, who is an art curator here in Pittsburgh, like definitely putting Pittsburgh black art on the map. You have Breeze Youngblood, who's an MC, and she is gay as fuck and mad cute.
Okay. That sounds personal.
I mean,
I
I'm bisexual.
No, I was gonna say that sounded like it was So
like we're 2 hours in, and I'm like, yes, I, if you're cute, I like you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Again, not news to anybody
I follow
who
a cute
knows
lesbian,
me.
and there's no. Yeah, I mean, like she's just fucking gorgeous. She had her shoe game on point.
I love me a lesbian. I love
nice-
me a masculine of center. That's a new social media like
masculine of center.
Masculine of center.
Is that
yeah.
the women that are? What's the proper term? Or masculine presenting?
I can say dyke. You can't say dyke. I
I'm
can
not,
say dyke.
you see how I didn't
because
say that? You see
I'm
how?
bisexual.
You see how no matter how much alcohol I get
Well-
in me, I try to stay woke. You know what I
Good
mean?
for you. But stay woke.
I'd let you say it. But
Yes.
To a point where
No,
you can't say
they
dyke.
they definitely no. You can't. You just said it. That's
did.
like Bill
You
Mayer
did.
saying nigga. You
Yeah.
can't say it.
Is it like Bill
Yeah,
Maher?
you
shit?
really-
No,
Yeah,
it's
no,
actually well, no.
it's not as worse.
It's not as bad.
But it's still not.
Like I'm not gonna like
I'm on the
fuck you
okay,
up or
so
anything.
I'm
It's
just
like
gonna say
drowsy.
this
You're
very
not.
quickly.
You're not sleep.
You're not allowed to say-
woke.
so
you're
if
drowsy.
you're-
That's a drowsy. That's a drowsy.
if you're in the life. Again, this is like me dating myself because they used to call being like LGBT in the life. You could say like dyke. So
Yeah,
I'm an old school bisexual.
But didn't Vice just say that like nobody's straight? Wasn't that a thing that Vice just had an
I
article?
don't pay attention to that.
Word.
Bullshit.
All right.
Listen,
I don't pay attention to
any. I don't mean any negativity when I use any
Just say
terms.
lesbian.
Lesbian.
I don't
Daddy.
say dyke often. Like I ain't like I
You
walk
just said
around
it
dyke.
twice. My God.
I never called
My
anyone
guy.
a- but it's a word.
My guy.
He was referring to the water structure. I'd be like, we're gonna go with that.
So I can,
listen, I don't have-
but anyway, Breeze is a stud. She's mad sexy. Alicia Young.
So you can say
Alicia,
stud and not dyke.
No, stud is good. You can say
stud is good? Okay, stud.
No,
Alright.
okay.
No.
So some of the lesbians who've been out for a long time, they'll still say stud. Some of the newer studs will say masculine of center.
Masculine of center. So and butch is a.
I don't really hear too many people saying that nowadays. I think the white lesbians still use butch,
But if I say it, is it?
I don't know. I can't be the gatekeeper.
I'm not- I
Let's
don't-
finish her shout
I
out.
can't do everything,
I-
nigga. I got enough
Alright,
license, but listen.
Alright, finish your shout out so we can close this
thank
out.
you. Liana Mantis, Anquanique, Kalala Luckett, Breeze Youngblood was good. Alicia Young, who is actually my cousin Damon from Very Smart Brothers.
Oh, okay.
His wife actually did a photo shoot with me
He
for
will
American
be on
Woman.
at the end of the month.
I know.
Yeah.
That's what Ed was saying. Heather Manning, what's up, Wilkinsburg was and Taylor. She's 18 years old. She's going to be the youngest participant in American Woman because you have to be 18.
Yeah.
Because you have to be like an actual woman and you have to like say, okay, this is how you're going to be presented, and I want you to be an adult to say you're going to be like, you have to like sign over rights for me to like
Yeah.
present you in this light. But should I like do my social media and
So
stuff?
where can they find you?
So you can find me on Twitter. My name is Huny, Huny. You can tell I've been on Twitter for a long time. The fact that my username is 4 letters. Huny is Twitter. My name on Instagram is HoneyRocks, HunyRocks. My name on Facebook. Don't add me on Facebook, actually.
Yeah, no.
I have over 1,000 friend requests, so I can't get any more.
If you're listening to this, don't add me on Facebook either.
Don't
man.
add me
I'm
on
so
Facebook.
goddamn
You have
sick
to be
of
my
having,
friend or like my
people- I
family.
don't know.
Stop
Why
adding
are
me on
you-
Facebook. I love
What are
you,
you
but
doing?
don't.
Why are you searching people to
Like, you can
add?
follow me on Facebook because I do post some things public, but don't like add me on Facebook because that's weird. What else? What else do the kids have? Instagram? I said Instagram. I said Honey Rocks. You're not even listening to me right now.
Snap?
That's so beige of you. Snapchat is Honey Rocks as well. HUNYROCKS is my name on Snapchat as well.
Got the Tumblr was
I do have a Tumblr. I don't use it as much as I should, but it's Gangsterly.
Gangsterly?
GAN. Oh God, I'm so drunk. Okay. GANG. It's Gangster LY.
Okay, LY. Because I was waiting. I didn't know if it was like a Lee, like you was.
My God,
like you was the new.
This
like
is
dragon.
Ridiculous. I just want to reiterate that these niggas have me drinking fucking top shelf bourbon with no ice or no chaser. Ain't no ginger beer in this bitch at all. I'm so drunk right now, but I would like to say that it was a pleasure having you. Having me. You had me.
I mean, we might have had a little bit of each other. I don't know.
First off,
thank you for having me on the podcast. I've been in Work Hard Pittsburgh twice now because I did broadcast podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Natalie and Kim, coolest girls ever. Like, those are the wokest white women. They are so dope.
Yeah. I
love those chicks. They're definitely putting like a lot of effort into highlighting marginalized women in Pittsburgh. They've had like Latinos, black women. I don't even know if there's been a white girl on podcast yet. They are definitely cool as fuck. I want to shout out, I don't know, all the real niggas. I don't know. I'm very intoxicated. Like, I can't feel my face.
Shout out to all the real niggas.
My fingers are numb.
That was the most realest shout out.
For legal purposes, we gotta.
Is that a black and mild?
Yeah, it's black and mild.
Yeah, we gotta eliminate.
If there was chicken in here, it could not get any blacker.
You keep bringing up this chicken. I guarantee. Next time you on this podcast, I expect to have chicken in it. I'm just saying.
I'll bring you chicken tonight, baby.
Wifey had chicken in the crock pot before I left, so I'm very, very happy.
Yeah, she is. You better slow roast that chicken, boo. You better slow roast that chicken, boo. Fall off the fucking bone and shit.
Exactly. Yes. But listen, we want to thank you for coming on. It was one of the realest conversations that I remember having on this cast.
Thank you for having me.
Shout out to you. Shout out to your project, American Woman.
I appreciate that.
I'm definitely looking out for that. I think it's do it for the culture, as people say now. Like, for the culture. So it's very dope. Y'all follow Honey. You get more of this podcast in words online. So that's what's up. Dave, let the people know where they can find us.
We are the Drinking Partners, and if you're looking for us, you can find us on epicastnetwork.com/partnerspod. You can find us on IG, Twitter, and Facebook at PartnersPod. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn, and Google Play under Drinking Partners.
Again, one more time, we want to thank Honey for coming on, and as you know,
you're welcome.
Is the crew. Epicast is the family. And
Epicast is the family. Bye. Mwah.
That was